Why are Nigerian youths not showing up as they ought to in the political space? Because when you consider that the crop of leaders that have ruled in the past rose to national prominence in their 30s or in their 40s. So is it a challenge of not showing up, or is it that the political space is limiting for Nigerian youths? Peter, I'd like you to take that.
Thank you very much. I think the answer is obvious. You know, President Tinubu praises himself as one of the supporters of the June 12th mandate, the MKO Abiola, struggle, which of course was premised around free and fair elections. And today the system has become, 30 years later, we cannot have leaders who will come out and commit to a process that will be free, fair, credible, and peaceful. Do you know that in 2023, in the home state of the president, and this is on record and reported, citizens were physically beaten out of polling units in Lagos State for looking like a certain tribe? And if that is not an issue to political actors and leaders, then there is high-level mischief. It is not about the youth not wanting to be part of it. It is a deliberate attempt at making the process become so violent and become so difficult that not only the youth, even persons of decent character and integrity will rather stay away. And that is why you hear the usual slogan, politics is a dirty game. Today, women are struggling to have, compensated seats in the Senate or in the parliament. Why? Because they believe that the process has become too rigorous for people who are, non-violent or want to maintain a peaceful disposition to sail through. If you look at the entertainment sector, for example, where the youths took charge of that industry and have made a fortune out of something that was almost nothing without little or no support from the government. It then means that given the opportunity, Nigerian youth have proven to be ingenious and enterprising and ready to take every opportunity. But then you see a government that sets a not too young to run bill into place, and then the cost of the nomination form is about 100 million. So you are not too young to run, but you are also too poor to run. So across boards, it is not a matter of just paying lip service to these issues. If President Tinubu is interested in the welfare of the youth, no population will grow by handing out handouts. Since from presidents before Tinubu, even the Buhari administration, we had the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Hajia Umaru Sadiq. They said we were doing conditional cash transfers. How much and how many persons were pulled out of poverty? The Minister of Finance recently made a pronunciation that almost 400 billion have been distributed to about 30 million Nigerians. And my dear sister and my brother in the studio, how many persons do you know that benefited, or have you received your own share of that? Nigerians will not move forward through handouts. It is through policies that are going to enable persons of integrity and character to get into the system. And that is what Nigerians must insist on. Because as it is today, the National Assembly that should carry out checks and balances have become almost an extension of the presidency. It is the APC town hall where the president is greeted with his political mantra. The judiciary has proven that it has become the last hope of the uncommon man. So it is up to Nigerians to come together, mobilize, and insist that the right thing be done, and we, the youth, will not be waiting to be given the opportunity, but take up the leadership and insert ourselves into the equation.
You cannot say that Tinubu is a Democrat, because a Democrat will believe in free and fair election. Because everything that brought about Tinubu is hinged on the fact that, as they try to make us believe, he fought for democracy during the June 12 agitation. But everything the man stands for is anti-democracy. You cannot say we have a democracy when the daughter of the president, whom Nigerians know nothing about, we didn't vote for, goes from state to state, clamoring or trying to install head of market women. A thing that's never been heard before, a thing that is not in our constitution. See, I say this all the time. Corruption is like cancer, or cancer is like corruption, or whichever way you want to put it. It destroys everything it comes in contact with, even to the people that you would think will benefit from it. That's exactly what is happening in Nigeria. You cannot say that Tinubu is a Democrat, because I laugh and I look at you and I say to you, what Democrat is he? The one that rigged the election into becoming the president of Nigeria? How can you call that a Democrat? By the way, you cannot even say that we have a democracy when our elections are rigged. When we know there's Violence, where our politicians have turned our election system to violence. You must win by force because they know that when they win by force, they will get their money back. So they pay touts and thugs and they rig the elections. They cause harm on Nigerians because they must rig election because our rule of law is weak. How can you say there's democracy in Nigeria when the judiciary is compromised? Have you seen the laws or the judgment that have been coming out of our judiciary in the last 10 years? Can you see how twisted they are? You wonder what sort of judges we have in Nigeria. Corrupt. And you see, when corruption blinds, it blinds judgment. The lady justice that is meant to be blind can see how she's giving judgment, ping pong judgment. And Nigerians are looking, the rest of the world, they're looking at us and they're looking, these people who are brilliant, how can you have leaders that feel like they're demons? How can you say that we have a democracy when we have a one-party dominance in disguise, where they're compelling and forcing other political opponents to join them because of the dirt they have on those politicians? Or because at the end of the day, they want to make sure it's easy for them to rig their next election. How can you call that a democracy? How can you call that a democracy when there's no ideology? If I ask you today, what's Bola Tinubu's ideology? You don't know. Even the renewed hope agenda that he promised, stolen from Abiola, he can't even execute it. How can you say we have a democracy when we know that INEC lacks independence, where the INEC has to do exactly what the government of the day wants it to do? That's why it was easy for them to shut down the server in 2023 and then write elections and announce elections in the middle of the night when Nigerians slept. How can you say there's a democracy in Nigeria when oppositions are suppressed? See, when ADC wanted to announce their plans, see how they shut everywhere down. Had to hide, book several venues because they know what the government is going to do. See our journalists who are being detained all around the place because they speak up, they arrest them. They use the DSS, the police, to lock Nigerian journalists off because we have a person who claims to be a Democrat as a president. How can you say we have a democracy when our rule of law is so weak? Where the judges pass judgment, oh my God, cannot even enforce judgment. They put immunity for corruption. How can you say we have democracy? I'm saying this again, where the godfathers are the ones who are benefiting from the system. They put their currency in next place to cover the corruption they've actually perpetrated and the money they've stolen. Look at what happened in Rivers State. That's what has happened in Nigeria, in Lagos State for the last 20 years, since 1999. Wike just, replayed Bola Tinubu's script. The same Wike said he bought forms for all the politicians in Rivers State. That's the same Wike that demanded from Fubara. And Fubara refuses. What did they do? Removed him for 6 months. How can you say that's the democracy when the constitution is actually decimated completely? How can you say we have a democracy when there's corruption at every level? Look at this government. They've borrowed. We will ask you, what have they used that money for? Will you be able to tell? The answer is no. How can you say we have a democracy when there's lack of accountability? The government cannot even give account of what they're spending the money for anyway. They're constantly taxing the people. The same government removed subsidy and now tax the people to pay for buying fuel. The same government is taxing the people for paying money into their own account. The same government is taxing the people for loading their data or buying electricity. That same government that said they will have excesses for removing subsidy. Can you see the multiple level of scams that we're facing? Where their policies are not people-centered, but anti-people centered policies. So again, I feel sorry for young Nigerians when I hear you support these aged politicians who have no ideology or idea of how to move the country forward. That's what Peter is saying. Peter is literally telling Bola Tinubu, if you're a Democrat, support free and fair election. That's what Peter is saying. Not election rigging. If you're a Democrat, put systems and policies in place to allow the right people to come in and then make Nigeria work. Young people have done well for Nigeria. If the government cannot protect the people, the government cannot carry out its basic responsibility of protection of lives and properties. The people have to buy their own water, dig their own well, build their own houses, provide their own security, build their own roads to go to their own house. And the government keeps taxing them. The government keeps leveling on them. The government cannot protect them. What is that government good for? So again, Peter hasn't asked anything extraordinary. Put the policies in place. If you're a Democrat, Bola Tinubu, let there be free and fair election. Address it. You have the National Assembly in your pocket. Go to them and say, we want a constitutional review. Change the constitution. We want to go and make Nigeria election free and fair. Make sure there's compulsory, transmission of election result. It's that simple. It's not so hard if you're a Democrat. If you really believe that Nigerians voted for you in 2023 and you did not rig the election, that's what Peter is saying. You believe that you have the popularity you claim to have. Try it. But you know what? You will never do that. You will never do that. They find ways to borrow and steal the money eventually. These people are in their 80s. They are close to their grave, but they're still stealing. Stealing more money. Where are you going to take the money to? You bring the curses of the people on yourself and your family. I'm just saying, because it's painful when you look at this. That's why I'm trying to tell young Nigerians. This is what I say to a lot of people all the time. You cannot blindly support these politicians. You cannot blindly support this current political party. If you look at the National Assembly, look at what Akpabio is doing. Look at FCT. Look at what Wike has done. How can you be building houses for the judges and you don't consider that to be corruption? The appearance of corruption alone itself lets you understand that the judges themselves should not be taking that up because they are now beholden to you. Then there's no way they can pass free and fair judgment. So the kind of systems we're talking about. We want a system that will work for Nigeria, not one that will work for only a select few. Look at corruption everywhere. Again, I mentioned Bola Tinubu's daughter went around installing, market women leader. A person that we don't recognize. The constitution have no recognition of her, but she has the effrontery. Why? Because they've been installed themselves. A governor in Edo State, for example, who knows that is beholden to her father. Unless the people rise, that's what Peter said. We have to insert ourselves into that place by force and by fire. This is the reason why they're afraid of social media, because they know that this time you cannot control it. You cannot control the people. You cannot clamp them down. That's why they're afraid. These politicians are afraid. So Nigeria is not that, we're not practicing any democracy. What we're practicing is election rigging. Again, we're not practicing democracy. We're practicing election rigging in Nigeria. And we have mastered the election rigging. And that's why we have these criminals recycled. And they claim to what? Have been voted in by the people. And these people stop collecting their monies. If they cannot feed you for the last 4 years, how do you think that that money they will give you will not feed you for another 4 years? It's their investment. Every time they give you 10,000, that's their investment. They will collect that money in multiple folds you cannot count. Look at your roads. Look at all these constituency projects that these lawmakers have been given to do. How many of them have done it for you? How many lawmakers can you brag that they're in the National Assembly speaking on your behalf? So stop collecting money from these guys. They don't mean well for you. As a matter of fact, stand together, band together, vote them out, bring your right person so you can come out of poverty. Until you have the right lawmakers, until you have the right governors, you will never move forward. Remember, Bola Tinubu didn't just go to rig the election by himself. He didn't control the server, neither did the governors of the other states. Somebody was there who was compromised. Somebody was in the police station that they used to change the election result and was watching it because it was giving some money to keep quiet. And today is also a victim of the system. Everybody is a victim of corruption. It does not matter whether you like it or not. We are all victims of corruption because we want to travel on our roads free, but we cannot because we're afraid that we're going to be kidnapped. We're afraid that the bandits will come to our villages and they are burning our villages and our people alive. That's the kind of system that we have in Nigeria. Until we kick against this kind of government, we're going to suffer the consequences. Enough of it. Don't lie to yourself. This government is a failure. Call it out for what it is. This is my summation of what Peter said. What is your take about it? Do you agree with it? Share this content, recommend this content. We need to push out and call out our politicians, but we need to push out our needs and make sure we stand for it, because we need to make sure we push Nigerians to come to that level of realization that their lives matter. They don't have less value than our politicians and their family members. And that's the only way we're going to rise out of this level of destruction we found ourselves in. So again, put your comments in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, recommend this channel, and also recommend this content. Remember to subscribe as well. I will catch you up in the next video. Click on the notification icon. God bless you. Bye-bye for now.